Everybody, welcome into the DGD Podcast. As always, your host, Robert Reynolds. Got a special show today as we are waiting for Justus Terry, five-star D-line from Manchester High School in Manchester, Georgia. Huge recruiting battle, and what a way to send off the early signing period as well. Wait until Friday at noon to commit. Got a huge chat audience right now. Hope everyone is doing well. I know y'all are excited. I'm excited. Let's talk about this. Justus Terry, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Auburn. Going to be interesting to see what happens here. Also got a poll up. Let us know where you think he commits. We're waiting for it. But until then, we're here to talk and answer some questions until we get started here at the announcement as we do our watch along here to see where Justus Terry ends up committing and signing. Let's see. We'll do some chats here. Fox Mulder, Birdcage, Star Wars, Mike Madden saying, "Come join our monster defensive 2025 class." Good right there. Rodney Garnes, rep your home state, young man. You were born and raised in dog country. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be fun. We are probably less than 10, 15 minutes away from the commitment to start. Let's see. Make sure if you're listening, if you're watching right now, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Does a lot for the show here. We thank you for that as well. And it's free. So do that for us if you won't mind. Fox Mulder. Is that Go Dogs, I guess? Looks like Dogs. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't see it right there, but yeah. Birdcage Sim, what's good? What is good? I think we're all here waiting for the same thing to happen there. Let's take some comments and pop some comments. I want to see what people have to say. Obviously, Georgia is the favorite right now, but you can't sit there and tell me that Georgia hasn't been pressed and having to fight this one as well. Just going to leave that there. Just want to give everybody a heads up too. We will, once we have availability and the ceremony starts, I will shut up and we will let that take over. So keep that in mind and stick around after the commitment because we will talk about it regardless where he goes. So yes, Ethan Murphy, the signing, I'm gonna bring it up once the ceremony starts. So once that happens, I will shut up. Like I said, I will bring it up and I will shut up and let everyone hear what's going on. Preston House says this would be icing on the cake for this great defensive line class we've got. Absolutely. Looking at that right there. I love Elijah Griffin being in this class. I love Isaiah Gibson in this class. So you've got all different facets right there too. You're setting yourself up if you bring in Justus Terry. J-Way Trucking asks, from 1 to 10, how comfortable, where does he commit? I would probably say maybe a 6, 7 to Georgia. Just looking at it, man, I think you look at Texas and Auburn, extremely aggressive, more than likely in this NIL situation, especially pushing it back till Friday, really opened the door for some last-minute offers, something that we've got to get used to, and I think everybody in college football will get used to at some point as well. Felonious Monk says, I think Kirby encourages the big-time recruits to drag it out so other schools waste money chasing them. I don't know about that. Because at the same time, I'd rather get these kids signed early and get it out of the way. Bring in the national, sign that letter of intent, be done with it. Just be done with it. That way you ain't got to worry about it and stress about it. I get it kind of trolling, but I just don't necessarily buy that as much, if that makes sense. Can't go wrong with Kirby's defense. Yeah, Kirby's defense and Georgia needs, I think this is a must get for Georgia. First off, in-state talent. And that's just one that you've been on since 8th grade. If you've been on him for this long, you can't miss this kid. I don't think Kirby's going to let this happen. I think Kirby will get this commit But we'll see. We shall see. Again, Texas and Auburn have really made it interesting, I would assume, with NIL offers. You have to assume that. You have to assume that. Chris, go Dogs. Absolutely. Go Dogs, sir. Let's see. Looks like at any minute, so we should be in about 5 minutes probably get started, hopefully. But we'll see once everything starts popping off. So we'll see. J-Way says, NIL has changed the game for recruiting. Feel like Vegas blackjack table. Yeah. No, it's brought a lot of people's talked about parity, and I agree with that slightly because you're looking at 5 stars, and they're more spread out. They're just more spread out, and I think it's good and bad. I think it's good because you're bringing some parity, but at the same time, if I'm being a homer, I would want all the 5 stars if you could. So, Evan, what is going on? Matt, go Dogs. Ronaldo, I would be shocked if he doesn't pick Georgia. I'm with you, but again, I'm not all the way out on that. This one's kind of been a toss-up too, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. Fox with the pun too. It will be an injustice if he signs with anyone other than the Dogs. Yeah, no. Again, you've been on him since he's in 8th grade, and you haven't slowed down one bit. Emory Green, talking about the SEC championship game, says expects us to dominate tomorrow. It's going to be interesting, but it would be fun to get a recruiting win over Texas right before that game, for sure. Thomas T-Bone saying, go Dogs. J-Way looking at some science here, some recruiting science. The last gloves he had on in a game was Georgia. The drip science? Is that what we're going to call it? Enrico saying, go Dogs. Reynaldo, also, what would happen with Terry? Would we be back at 1 for class rankings? That's a good question. So I think it just depends on where you look at, because on 3, you're currently at 4th, and I think it could push it to either 1st or 2nd there. I don't necessarily know the averages and countdown, but 24/7, I would expect you to jump to the number 1 in their rankings from their points composite. I would expect that. Mythic Shadow Master, already too pumped about current wide receiver class to be that down if he doesn't pick Georgia. Yeah, we talked about this last night on our signing day recap. Definitely excited about this receiver class. Love the fact that you're deep at all 5 of those receivers. I think all of those can play. I don't see a miss there, at least at this point in time. Joey drip for sale. Yeah. Star Wars saying drip science sounds really bad. Should probably wrap that thing. Maybe. I guess. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, no, I think this is gonna be a big one. So whoever gets him, they're gonna enjoy this. I think he has highest potential, in my opinion. So definitely the highest potential in this class, in my opinion. So I think they are starting to talk, and we'll go in there for a little bit, and let's pull this up and see.
They are a good role model of what a student athlete should be. They are excelling on each court, football, basketball, track and field, and they also excel in the classroom. That's the most important part. Today we're going to have 2 signings, CJ Favors and Justus. I got a couple things real quick to try to help us out. This is a very important moment for everybody in this room. I want you to understand that help us out with sidebar conversation. We want these kids, family members, and supporters to hear everything that each kid got to say. We don't want them to miss anything. We also have media up front, so if you can refrain from having any sidebar conversation and just tune in and listen, because these young men have worked extremely hard for everything that they're getting right now. We just don't want to be cut short of somebody miss something because somebody have a sidebar conversation. First up would be CJ Favors. You can bring the camera.
For those listening, you can see that they've got multiple commits or multiple announcements. So we're just waiting for Justus. while we're waiting, if you let us know what fan. Oh,
I want to start by acknowledging all of offers I received. I got Mercer University, University of West Georgia, Stony Brook University, Charleston Southern University, Army, and Kennesaw State University. A lot of people know me, but for the ones that don't, my name is Brian C.J. Favorite.
Star Wars asks the question, Manchester, Georgia, where is that in the state? That is down south, closer to Columbus.
When I was 9, I started training, and this was when I knew football was something I really wanted to do. I've been working hard for half of my life already, and look at the growth already. If there's one thing football has taught me, it is as long as you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. But if you think negative, you have no positive result. Throughout my youth years, I've played in several All-Star games and gone to a lot of football camps, pushing to get my name out there. Fast forward to high school. Now high school is a totally different ballgame. The people were stronger, faster, and 10 times bigger from a freshman's point of view. But I never backed down from anyone, because if you ask me who will win between CJ and Ray Lewis, I'm picking me. Now my junior year, it was the toughest because I know I was having the best season of my life. And at the end, I still wasn't seeing any attention from coaches. But instead, I had my mom and dad in my corner telling me to be patient and trust God's process. I wanted to thank
Star Wars asks, is this where? No, this is one of his teammates. We're just allowing him to announce his commitment as well.
I'll never forget the look on their face when the words "full ride" came up. But that makes me happy because I know my family won't have to stress to pay a dime out of their pocket. I want to thank the coaches for holding me accountable on and off the field and leading us no matter the circumstances we've been put in. I also want to thank my teammates for showing me what a brotherhood is and how far it can take you. With that being said, I will be furthering my education
All right, folks, that was Justus Terry's teammate announcing his commitment to West Georgia. After this, it should be Justus Terry. We will unmute the video once that happens. Just wanted to go from there. All right, we should be getting ready to. Yep, we should be getting ready here. I'm going to unmute and let this happen, okay?
First off, I want to start by thanking God, because without him, I wouldn't be in this position, to make this decision or have this opportunity. Next, I want to do a special thanks to my parents, people I surrounded myself around, through this process that really motivated me to get up every day and keep grinding. Shaking a little bit because, you know me, but hey, I really thank y'all. I really love y'all for that. I got a special thanks to Jermaine Brown. I didn't text you back for a reason, because I wanted to do this in front of everyone. Just want to thank you for taking me in 2020, grinding with me 4 years straight, non-stop, every real, we made it count. Now look what we're doing. So I just want to thank you for that. Zanny Coker, I want to thank you for taking me in, working me every day. Times I didn't want to work, you pushed me to my limits. I wanted to quit, but I never did. Now look at it. So I just really want to, thank y'all for that. I want to thank my teammates for pushing me. Man, we've been through, what, and back, man. Like, it's been crazy. So now with all that being said, I really just, my coaches too. I can't forget him. Jack, man, since Rick, man, you already know it, man. Just been since Rick, Monte, since you came, Coach Quinn, Coach Buck, it's been a good ride with y'all boys, and I just really loved all the moments we had together, the way y'all grinded with us and pushed us, always kept us in a positive mindset, positive energy. With all that being said, I want to take my talent to University of Texas.
Y'all coming to Texas?
All right, thank y'all for coming out.
All right, folks. Apparently, Justus Terry commits to the University of Texas. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Obviously, kind of expected it. Wasn't expecting that all the way, but nonetheless, Justus Terry commits to the University of Texas. Like I said before the announcement, Texas did come in heavy with a heavy bag, if you will. I know Georgia was being aggressive, but it does seem like potentially that Texas did pay off and sign Justus Terry. Now, with that being said, that doesn't change all of Georgia's class. Again, keep in mind, you do have Elijah Griffin, you do have Isaiah Gibson. So, this is a sting, right? If you are the University of Georgia. However, keep in mind what you brought on the defensive line. So it's definitely something that, Georgia was obviously aggressive here. As we'll see, we got Texas fans coming in now. Either way, congrats on the University of Texas for getting Justus Terry. With that being said, too, right, it looks like Georgia will probably stay put in the 4th spot on the on-3, 2nd or 3rd in the 24/7, depending on where you look. Now, with that being said, looking at this right here, again, just because you didn't get Justus Terry, I would still say this defensive line haul is really, really good, and it filled a lot of need where it was needed. We've seen this as Georgia fans. You need these types of players, right? We still can't necessarily say that this was a easy loss, right? We have to take that for what it's worth. With that being said, too, right? Obviously, we wish him nothing but the best at Texas. However, it is belt to ass tomorrow. We have to do that. We have to do it in the SEC title game. No doubt. There's still a sting, though. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat the sunshine pumping. That's a big time loss. But again, I do want to make sure that people don't lose sight of what you've already got, right? What you've already got. You got some really good talent there. So AJ is not happy right now. Understandable. We'll see. But nonetheless, we'll take some more comments for a little bit, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Obviously, we're thankful for y'all sticking around and sticking around and watching this commitment with us. Salty Q said, not going to lie, he thought he was a dog lock. With this one, I wasn't going to call it a lock at all. I wouldn't call that a lock, honestly. It felt like that. I think at the same time, though, listen, there's probably in today's world, I think we have to understand the NIL packages are probably something that can really help there, especially with a 5-star talent like that. I wouldn't call anything a lock specifically, but definitely the biggest news of the day, obviously, with Justus Terry flipping or not flipping, but committing to the University of Texas. Yeah, no, that's the interesting part. Salty Q also says Kirby doesn't lose in-state talent like that, and I'm with you, but I do think we have to start understanding the fact that NIL is playing parts in a lot of these recruitments and is changing the way recruiting is working as a whole. Not saying this is an excuse by any means. Georgia was aggressive in the NIL situation. However, you're starting to see, and it's not even if we want to look outside of Georgia, you're starting to see other schools become aggressive and pick players in theory that you might not necessarily see in a world before NIL. And, you win some, you lose some. Obviously, this is one you didn't want to lose, and Georgia did. They lost out on this one, and Texas got them a good one. So, we're sitting there looking at that right there. This is one that Georgia's got to come to the drawing board. What do you do from here, right? Obviously missing out on Justus Terry. I think you look at guys, you probably have to look at the portal now, maybe even harder. I think you were going to go to the portal anyway, but I think now you have to really look at the portal. Yeah, I would say that. AJ said Georgia needs NIL. Georgia was aggressive on this one, but at the same time, you have to understand too that some teams can do way more. And you have to be careful with it because there are certain situations where kids might get quote unquote overpaid for this. So Georgia, if it's something that's drastically different, I think you're looking at that situation a totally different way. You can offer one thing, but if you don't get picked, then you don't get picked. So I will say that as an example. But yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if Texas came in with an offer that you almost can't say no to. That's arguably that's my thinking of what happened. Obviously, the signs were pointing to Georgia. I think other fan bases even thought so. But again, welcome to the world of NIL. Just say it. Star Wars Dog saying, but will NIL build the best locker room? He trusts Kirby. Yeah, I think there's always that the pros and cons. I think Texas A&M, Star Wars has kind of brought that up to the forefront of, you can pay for a class, but, it might not always work out. So that's something that you really got to pay attention to, right? Just didn't work out. Now there's situations that did work out. There's some, it's just going to happen, right? Especially in the world of NIL, try to keep people happy and things like that. So Colin says Bama fan, but this was purely NIL. Nobody's going to Texas on the D-line over Georgia. Texas has got a good D-line, right? They've got a good defensive line, but I can agree with that. I think as most of these elite recruitments are concerned, I think you're going to say it has to be about NIL to a certain degree, right? This one may have been more or less than others, which is fine. But again, I think NIL did play a part in this, and you have to respect that as well. I can't be mad about that. Definitely about the bag, Wesley Spruce. I don't know how to say this, but a 3-star committed are your best friend compared to a 5-star. Is it Aniakimi Aduko? Might be wrong on that one. Seth chimes in on that as well. Listen, it's one of these things. Like I said, Georgia, now you're out on Justus Terry. Again, you've got to look into the portal more than likely. What could that also mean? Could that also mean that, you have somebody else staying around on the defensive line to account for it? We don't know. Only time will tell, though, for sure. AJ says he's over it. Listen, I think that's something that in the time being, it's going to happen. And you have to understand that, again, Kirby and Georgia can be only like as aggressive as they want, but certain schools are just their bag is deeper, right? you have to understand that too, I think. And, it can get annoying. I understand the frustration, but at the same time, you do have to understand that, hey, some schools are just richer than others. And thankful for alumni bases, right? We look at Phil Knight over at Oregon. You look at, there's examples there. But at the same time, and it's also about how aggressive you want to be. In this case, Georgia was aggressive, probably more aggressive than most. So you have to understand that too, but I understand the frustration as well. Let's see. All right. I think we're out of comments. Well, I want to, again, thank everybody for tuning in. Again, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Obviously, Justus Terry commits to the University of Texas, spurning Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. We're going to wrap this up, and we will be back Monday. We'll be back Monday to recap the SEC title game and look forward to Georgia in the playoffs. Star Wars, the last comment, I would take Dan Jackson's all day over a mercenary talent. If this come down to NIL, all I can say is, oh, well. Yeah, I mean, that's just, like I said, I'm going to beat the horse one more time. Welcome to the world of NIL. And if, there will be regulation at some point. Until then, this is the way it is, and you've got to adapt to it. But again, congratulations to Justus Terry committing to the University of Texas. That's all we've got here for this special edition of the DGD Podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Alumni Hall and powered by the Fans First Sport Network. I'm Robert Reynolds. Have a great weekend, and go Dogs.